Hey, what's up everyone? Hope you're all doing well. Today we're going to be taking a look at the NECA Prey Ultimate Feral Predator action figure. So let's begin by taking a look at the sculpt and the detailing and the paint job. You can see the detail in the head there, and has a removable biomask, and you can see the face under there. Pretty much accurate to the movie, I would call that. I'm not really a fan of the design, the face design of this Predator in the film, but as an action figure, they did do a very good job with the likeness. It does look just like I remember it, how it looks in the movie. There's the dreadlocks, which are very long and thin, more thin than traditional Predators dreadlocks are, and they're made of a soft rubbery plastic, and they are kind of clumped together, so they're not each completely individual, but they can be moved around to how you like to display them, if that makes sense. You can see here there's like a bunch of them sort of together in the same piece, but as they get lower down, they do tend to separate a bit though. I think this is definitely a mask on Predator for me, because like I said earlier, I'm not a fan of the face design at all. But with the mask on, I actually do like the look of this Predator a lot. I'm a big fan of the biomask. I think it's a very cool and unique design that they gave it. So moving down to the body, you can see the flesh tones there, quite dark, kind of brown mixed in with some red and some black freckling. And I've heard a lot of people wondering what these silver markings are. What they're supposed to be is, in the movie, when you see him healing himself with that medical gel stuff that he has in that bottle that he shakes and puts on himself, that's what these are. That's what those are supposed to be. And then look at the arms, the torso, the armour and loincloth he has around his waist, and the legs, and then the feet have these wraps around them. And then taking a look at the back, has the little skull from that wolf, just like in the film. It's not removable though, it's attached to the figure. It's not a separate accessory. And then here inside this net we have one of them razor wire nets in here, but instead of it being launched like out of a gun like in the other films, he throws them like by hand, which I thought was a cool way to show an earlier version of the net launcher in the film. Here it's a bit hard to make out, but these are the cut clamps, I think they were called. Basically that long sort of thing he would hold and then sort of hit it and it will wrap around and cut something. Unfortunately, we don't get a extended version though. They're just here included in the sculpt, sorry. And in the back, something I do like a lot about this figure that has never been done on a NECA figure, on a NECA Predator I should say, is that the backpack, instead of being pegged into a hole like normal, it's actually got a magnet inside it, so there's no disrupting the sculpt with like big holes or pegs sticking out or anything. It just sticks on the back like a magnet, which I think is a really cool idea. And the same with his spear launcher weapon as well. that's on a magnet too, and that can stick onto the other side of his back there, just like in the movie. It just sort of, it's just attached to his back there. And now I'll show you the articulation that this figure has. So beginning at the top, the head has a ball joint, so it can move in any direction, front and back. Another addition that I don't think we've seen on the NECA Predator so far is another joint at the bottom of the neck. So not only can the head move around, also you can get more movement, so you can move it front and back. It doesn't really go side to side very much, just a little bit like that, but most of that movement forward and backwards will come with that extra joint there at the bottom of the neck, which I do like a lot. Then the shoulders are ball hinges, so they can go in and out, forward and back like that. Then we have a joint here, so the top of the bicep can swivel. And then we have double hinge at the elbows, so they can bend all the way like that. The gauntlet, the wrist gauntlets, can be spun around 360 degrees. And the wrist, there's a ball hinge there. So, sorry, don't just focus on it. Yeah, you can just see there, so the hand can swivel and go like that. Same for the other arm, I won't bother showing you again. It has torso articulation at the chest, so we can go side to side a little bit and forward and back ever so slightly. The waist is the same. You probably could actually turn it all the way around. And then we have a little bit forward and back, side to side. The top of the legs go outwards like that, and in, backwards and forwards. And then we have a rotation as well. At the knee, there is a bend at the top of the knee, and can go, it can rotate as well, but it's stopped by the sculpt there. And then we have a regular hinge on the bottom, so it's more like a double hinge really. You don't really get that much rotation out of it. You kind of would use the top leg rotation if you wanted to do that. And the ankles can go side to side and forward and back a little bit. So before we take a look at the accessories, something I just want to mention is that you may have noticed this little stand that I have mine on. That does not come included with the figure. I bought that separately. Something I wish that NECA would include would be a little stand like this though, as these figures are quite expensive. I think this one I paid about £50 for, give or take. So I think for that much, I think the least they can do really is just include a little base like this to have it stand on so it doesn't topple over. As without that, it stands alright, but it is a lot harder to get it stable without it falling over. So I think that would be an area that they could improve on with these, is just include a little basic stand like this with the figure, especially with how much these figures cost nowadays. And now for the accessories that the figure comes with. These are the ones that came on it that I have removed just to show you. So we have this biomask. Very good resemblance of how it looks in the movie. And it even has the detailing inside, which I thought was a nice touch, nice attention to detail. Here's the backpack. I showed you this earlier as well. It's got the magnet in it, which I think is a really cool addition. Here we have his main weapon, the not net gun, the spear gun, if my camera wants to focus on it. Yeah, there you go. The spear launcher weapon, which I thought was a really cool weapon. The way it worked was really cool, how it targeted like up to 3 targets and then would shoot them guided little darts at them. I thought that was very cool, very inventive. And here's just one of the hands that came on it as standard, but I removed it to put a different hand on it so it could hold the spear launcher. And then in the tray that comes inside the box, you have even more accessories here. So let's go ahead and take a look what else we have. So we have a extended wrist shield that he has. Like in the movie, he would open this up and then it would protect him from gunfire. We also have a not fully open version, but as it starts to open. So I'll just show you them on the figure quickly, because they plug into the gap here on his wrist gauntlet. So you can have it either... Oops, sorry. I put that in the wrong way. There we go. Yeah, so we got... Let me move my camera up. So yeah, we've got it as it's beginning to open. And then... this is it, open completely. So that's a very cool addition. This Predator did have a lot of cool new weapons in this film, didn't they? Yeah, the shield, the spear gun, lots of stuff we've not seen in the Predator movie before. So yeah, let's go back to the tray. We got, if I can get a grip on it, here we go. We've got the 2 halves of his combi stick, which peg together into a very long combi stick. So it's got that blade on the one side, and he used this as like a kind of like a mace, like a bludgeoning weapon on the other side. And then in the movie, just like in the movie, it can separate into 2 halves, which was really another really cool thing about the movie. I know I said before, but I do really like the weapons in this film. There's some really cool new additions. Here we have a closed version of it as well. And to store that on his back, you can see just down there, there's 2 S-shaped clips. So they would hook into the back of his belt here, and then you can have the small combi stick attached like that. Something I've heard from other people is that they don't work that well. Like, apparently they don't fit in very well, and they don't hold it very easily without falling off. So I think a better idea would have been to have this as a magnet as well, like they did with the backpack, and just have it like sort of held with a magnet like that. I think that would have worked better. And next, here we have his wrist blades, which attach to the right hand gauntlet. If I can get them in. It's a bit hard with his hand there in the way. I think this might need loosening up a bit with a hairdryer before I can fit them in, because that gap is quite small. That's quite tight. I'm having a bit of trouble plugging them in. Let me just see if I can heat these holes up, and then these might go in a bit easier. So yeah, here we go. I did manage to get them plugged in the end. What I had to do was heat up this area with a hairdryer, and that just made the holes here just a little bit more pliable so I could fit them in, but they were quite a tight fit. So speaking of hairdryer, actually, something I meant to say earlier when I was talking about the articulation, this figure is probably the best one when it comes to the articulation, when you the articulation like straight out of the box, because I think pretty much every other Predator figure I've had apart from this one, there would be at least one joint I would have to heat up to get it to turn, but with this one I didn't have any problems with any of the joints whatsoever. Just straight out of the box they all moved easily without me having to heat them up or worry about them breaking at all. So I'm happy to see that NECA finally seems to have solved that issue, because I played them for a very long time. I remember a lot of the earlier figures of theirs, you know, I'll buy a brand new, you know, you buy a brand new figure and pay good money for it, and then you'll be terrified of one of the joints breaking. So I would always go over them with a hairdryer first. But with this one, I didn't have any problem with any joint at all. They all turn very easily straight out of the box without me having to mess with them at all, which was something I was very happy to see. So back to the accessory tray. If we lift the top off, we have this little bit underneath which has all the extra hands that it comes with. It comes with quite a few hands, because counting the two that would come on it already, plus you get 2, 4, 6, 8, so that's 10 hands you get in total, which is pretty cool. You know, you can put him in any pose you want and have him holding any weapon, I imagine, with these amount of hands that you get. That's very cool. And then we have the other two mouths. So normally these figures would have like maybe a masked head and an unmasked head, but here what they've done is given you additional mouths. So you got an open mouth, you got a closed mouth, and then the one I have on it at the moment is a kind of halfway open mouth. And I'll just show you how to swap it out. It just they just plug in to the hole, so just grab it and sort of pull it down and wiggle it at the same time, like that. It'll come straight out nice and easily, and then you can plug in the replacement the same way. Here we go. Nice and easy. So here we have the open mouth, so he's like roaring, and then put the mask back on. There we go. That's very cool, isn't it? It's a very strange Predator design, because with the mask on I really like it, but without the mask on I hate it. I don't like the face at all. So like I said there, this is definitely a mask on Predator for me, but look at that, that does look really cool. I'm very impressed with the sculpting and paint job and accessories and pretty much everything that this figure comes included with. So now I'll give you a look at the box that the figure comes in. It's just like the normal boxes that these figures usually come in, except this one, it's just plain black with the Prey logo. It is in a shiny kind of shiny raised font, and then it says Ultimate Feral Predator underneath. Pretty basic, but it's fine, I guess. I think I would have preferred maybe like they could have had some, I don't know, maybe some artwork would have made it a bit more interesting to look at. On the top, we've got the same, and the bottom, we've got some credits there, and some instructions, which is actually quite nice. Because I remember on the older Predator figures, they didn't have any instructions, and you were kind of left to work stuff out for yourself. But here, it's all the different accessories and stuff is all explained to you, which is nice. Side, we've just got Prey again, and same on the other side. And on the back, we got the name of the movie again, a bio of the character, or kind of a short write-up of the movie, which you can pause and read if you want to. Here's a nice picture of the figure, and then some more photos and the included accessories. And then, like the other figures in this line, the Ultimate figure lines from NECA, the box opens up and it has a little bit of Velcro there, and then a picture inside and a clear window. And then you would see the figure inside there. So that was a look at the NECA Prey Ultimate Feral Predator action figure. Overall, I'm very, very impressed with this figure, from the level of detail to the amount of articulation and the quality of the paint job and the amount of included accessories. It's all really impressive. The only thing I would critique it would be that it does not come with a little foot stand like I have here. You still have to buy that separately, even though these figures are pretty expensive nowadays. Unfortunately, it did take me a little while to get around to finally being able to review this figure, as for some weird reason, it just took a long time to come out outside of America. Like, it would tend to normally be about a month or so, but with this figure, it must have taken like 3 or 4 months for it to come out worldwide, which is unfortunate, as I was looking forward to this figure for a very long time. But I'm happy to now be able to bring you a video of it and share my thoughts on it and give you a look at the figure in hand. I remember they actually announced this figure around the time the movie came out, but it took them over a year to release the figure itself, so I don't know the reason behind that, but I am glad to finally have it in hand now. I'm not sure if they've actually confirmed it yet, but I've heard rumours that this may be the last ever NECA Predator figure that they make, as they don't seem to really care that much about Alien and Predator anymore. They seem to be more focused on other licenses nowadays, NECA do, so I hope that isn't true and we will get more Predator figures, especially that Wolf Ultimate Predator. That Ultimate Wolf Predator that they teased a few years ago, but it's never come out, so hopefully they will release that one day, but I wouldn't be surprised if that just never comes out, unfortunately. And something I might actually show you while I'm talking about Predator figures is one that I was missing from my collection, but I'm happy to say that I did manage to track one down, and for a fairly reasonable price as well, considering how rare it is and how usually expensive this figure is. But it is the Elder Predator from Alien vs Predator. So this was a figure that I originally missed out on, and you just cannot find them on eBay. You'll find one like occasionally, but they're usually like really expensive. But I managed to get this one for a somewhat reasonable price, so I was very happy to finally get my hands on this Predator, because it was the only NECA Predator from the movies that I was missing, and once I realised that, it kind of bugged me a bit. But yeah, I'm happy to say I did finally manage to track one down. Well, not just now, I mean, I've had this for a few months, but I did, all these years later, I managed to find one on eBay. So I hope you enjoyed my review of the Feral Predator from NECA. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, what you think about this figure. Do you like it? Are you going to pick it up, or have you already got it in your collection? Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you aren't already, and then you can click here to see my video I did on my entire Predator collection at the time. So that was probably about a year ago. So I've gotten a few more Predator figures since then.